Check test. Hello. Hey, hi. I always forget. I always forget how early this stream is. Oh, not because it's at a bad time. It's 9 a.m. here, but like during the weekend, my sleep schedule goes and just it goes all over the place. But hi, we're back on YouTube. Yay! I thought I would stream this back on YouTube just because I wanted to make sure that I could switch back and forth between platforms, just in case, you know. So today we're going to be playing a bit more Destiny. This might be the last stream of Destiny for a little bit. Not because I'm not enjoying it, but because I'm sort of running out of things to do. And for me at least, it's more of a off-stream, like, binge kind of game, where I just do what I need to do on my main account while I'm like watching videos in the background. Like, I'm not saying that 100% focusing on Destiny isn't fun. Trust me, I've had my fair share of turning off everything so I can pay attention to what's going on screen. But I don't know, I have a big backlog of games. I'm pretty sure a lot of people have a big backlog of games. I'm definitely not the first. But I have a big backlog of games, and I want to play them more on stream. And doing this gives me that opportunity. So, this definitely will not be the last Destiny stream ever, because I do want to do more with it. But at least for now, I think this will be the end of a chapter, so to speak. That sounded so cringe. This stream isn't gonna run super long today. My idea for the weekend stream is to run pretty long, but I actually can't because I think I have a meeting, like an actual meeting, and I learned about it not an hour ago. So yeah, I'm gonna. It's in 3 hours, so it's not. It's still gonna be a semi decently length stream, but it's not gonna be as long as I might want. Because like I said, my idea for the weekend is like decently long, like 4 or 5 hours ish. But yeah, we're just gonna be vibing, talking about Destiny stuff, talking about random stuff, and playing the game. I am hard of memory, so I don't remember what else I had left to do. So we'll just find that out. Yeah, let me boot it up in the background. Once it loads up, we'll swap over. It always takes such a long time to boot up. I don't know if it's because the game's unoptimized or not. Who knows? Oh yeah, you like the BGM? It's from Game Chops. They're a wonderful group of composers who take video game soundtracks and remix them to lo-fi. I saw it on like a setup streaming thing a while back, and I actually really vibe with the music because it's very relaxing. All right, there it goes. Swap it over. Here we are, back again. So I have no plan on the itinerary for what to do. I know there's a couple things that we have to get through at least. The rest of it's probably going to be just general grindy stuff. But in the meantime, there was a new season that launched this week. So at least for people who have access to that content, there's more stuff. We're not on the burnout that everyone's been talking about as aggressively. I mean, we still are, because I swear people play this game so much that they hate this game. Oh yeah, Stadia's shutting down, so get off Stadia. End game to give. But yeah, the people who hate this game the most are the people who play it the most. So you know.
Rasputin.
Oh yeah, this is the new
War
season,
Mind.
by the way.
The most powerful artificial intelligence humanity ever created. With an arsenal to match. Thousands of war sets, primed to obliterate any and all threats to humanity. But when the greatest threat of all arrived, it nearly tore Rasputin apart. I saved the pieces of him that I could, encrypted them in a specialized engram. I've been trying to restore him in an experimental exoframe, but every
Yo, why he
attempt
bald,
I've
though?
made has failed. Until he's back online, all of his weaponry is up for grabs. And it's only a matter of time before his warsats fall into the wrong hands.
So yeah, this is season of the... What's it? Seraph. Which reintroduces a lot of the old story beats from seasons 3 and 10. I think 3 and 10. Which is a while back. Definitely a while back. Oh yeah, this is Osiris talking about stuff for the next big DLC. Blah, blah, blah. But yeah. It definitely has been a while since they've had this content. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And I also have Gun. But yeah. So it's a lot of the Rasputin themed stuff. We got back some of our old weapons that are now
Hey,
craftable,
Guardian.
which is
Thanks
cool.
for tagging along. We're gonna go have a chat with Clovis about Rasputin. Osiris, say hi.
Young Wolf. Anna. Like old times.
Osiris, you seeing this? Perimeter defense is tripped. They've never done that. I don't think Clovis is trying to kill us, but
Could be anything. We should keep our distance until the Guardian locks a trans.
Oh, is my chat supposed to be there? Hold on. Where would that setting be? I think social. Text chat on... Oopsie. Oh, it auto-hid. Never mind.
LZ's a little hot. Got you as close as I could.
Oh, I still have Blink on from
An outcome
when I
we
was
all
playing
want.
PvP.
It appears your grandfather is under siege.
Here we go.
He elicits that sort of reaction.
If Clovis is in danger, so is our mission.
But yeah, a majority of today is just going to be tying up loose ends.
Noted. Perimeter defense is definitely still.
Hey, I got the deep sight and resonance done. Now I can swap to weapons I actually want to use. There we go. I might actually do some more dares because I would like some better rolls on the 30th anniversary weapons.
Find some cover.
I've done all this already. So seeing these towers with lasers shooting at me doesn't freak me out at all.
I don't believe for a second House Salvation hacked Clovis's firewall. Maybe the Vex, but he'd implode the lab before suffering the indignity of losing it.
That is even a remote possibility. We cannot miss our only chance at restoring the war mind.
Yeah. I'll try to let him know we're coming so he doesn't do anything stupid.
I will say the comparison between how Osiris talks and how Anna talks is pretty funny. Because one sounds like someone who's very wizened and true and knows what he's talking about, and the other sounds like someone who came right out of like 2010. Not in that dude bro sort of way, but like she has that certain like not millennial speak, but it's awfully chill. Where most everyone is very serious. It's funny, I don't know. But yeah, as I was saying, I have obviously played through this season quite a bit already on my main because I'm an addict. I can't not play this game sometimes. And yeah, while it is just another season on top of the like list of seasons that we have now, I don't know. I think it's pretty solid for what it offers. They've adjusted the grind for weapons, so it's not as bad. They've adjusted the material grind, so it's less of a hassle. The activity is pretty much an open and shut case. It's not like Catch Crash, then Expedition, then all that stuff. We got a dungeon, which is really cool. And it really breaks up the monotony. What else do we get? We're getting a proper weapon mission for once, which the last one we had was it Presage or was it? No, it was, I think it was Dead Messenger, right? Yeah, I think it was Dead Messenger, which I actually can't remember the name off the top of my head. But yeah, that should be exciting. And then yeah, obviously the new dungeon, which I mentioned previously. I posted on Twitter about it, but I started doing the dungeon by myself because I wanted to experiment with it and see what it was like. And I don't know, I had fun with it, but I got all the way to the final boss room by myself. And at that point, I don't know if it was fatigue or just generally like, I want this to be done, but I swear that boss room was pain. Absolute pain. Maybe it's just because there's so many enemies that are being thrown at you. But it was like, oh man. It almost felt like too much. Not to say the dungeon's hard, it really is not hard. But it does keep you on your toes, and you do have to keep moving around a lot. That's for sure.
Nice to have an easy solve.
On top of that, I tried my absolute best to do as few deaths as possible, and I got all the way to, where did I get to? I got all the way to the first boss of the dungeon. Completely solo, no deaths.
I don't know.
And then I don't remember what killed me. Oh yeah, because I was doing it completely blind, completely guideless. I went to go off the side of the ledge when it tells you to descend off the side, because there's a part where you climb. The whole dungeon's in a Seraph Tower. So you go to the top and then you go back down to the bottom. But like I got to the part after I killed the first boss where you're at the top of the tower, where it says descend, and I started going down, and I didn't realize that there was a specific way to go, so I just jumped off the side.
Glowing? Oh, please tell me that.
And that was my first major death. Did I feel bad? Yeah. Was I planning on going completely deathless? Not really. 'Cause I can't hit shots. There we go. But yeah, after that I died a couple more times because, yeah, at that point I wasn't really super worried about not dying. And then I got to the Wyvern at the very end of the dungeon, and I couldn't beat it. I had trouble fighting it. There were too many enemies. I was trying to learn 3 mechanics at once. Well, I wasn't trying to learn 3 mechanics at once. I was trying to learn how they implemented the 3 mechanics. Because the previous parts of the dungeon teach you them very, very, very nicely. But I got all the way there, and I died, I think, 10 times in a row on the boss fight. Didn't even get to a damage phase.
The hive's presence is an omen. There is more to this.
So I went to my my Discord that I have with my IRL friends, and I saw that they were on and they were playing. And I don't know if I wanted to like show off that I was suffering, but I hopped in, and I was like, "Hey guys, what's up?" And they were playing. I think one was playing Need for Speed, and the other two were playing Elden Ring, because Elden Ring apparently got a new update with an arena mode.
What the hell?
I know nothing about it because I haven't played Elden Ring nor spoiled myself on it. But yeah, so I hopped in, started chatting with them, and then it was mentioned that we started talking a little bit about Destiny because I was playing it at the time, obviously. And one of my friends did actually want to do the dungeon proper. Reminder that this was like midnight. This was midnight for them, and midday for me. But yeah, one of my friends actually did want to do it, but it was late, so he was like, I want to go to bed. But one of my other friends was like, sure, I'll hop in, because he had planned on doing it. They had planned on doing it anyway. So he hopped in and started helping out. And he hopped in on the boss fight, because I asked for help, and he was like, yeah, sure, I'll join on the boss fight. And was just about as lost as you would expect as to someone joining in on the very last encounter of anything. So I said, how about we start over so that you can see the dungeon for yourself and learn how it works? And he was like, do you really want to do that? And I was like, I honestly don't care. So we started over. And I'm telling you, it was designed for more than one person. It was definitely designed for more than one person, because we got through everything that I got through at roughly the same speed. This, keeping in mind that I had already learned it and he had not. Part of it was because I was talking with somebody, I'm very much more easily distracted, and I was dying much more, so I wasn't doing as well as when I was paying attention and trying to solo it. But that's besides the point.
More kryptonite.
Yeah, so we got all the way to back to the boss fight, pretty decently fast. I think it took us only about an hour or so. And then we got to the wyvern at the very end, and it was still pain. It was still pain. The main issue is there are so many enemies present in the room that it just genuinely feels like you can't sit still. Like, the entire mechanic is that you're linking nodes together from point A to point B, and you have to get a buff, shoot the nodes, and, you know, properly grab everything. But we kept trying to, like, get the nodes in there to chain everything together, and every time we did, if we stopped moving, a supplicant would blow us up, which is what I posted about. Which supplicants are just bomb harpies. Vex bomb harpies. Very, very fun when they spawn 4 of them anytime you move even slightly. But we were on that boss fight for, I'm gonna say, an hour and a half. Roughly an hour and a half. Which, you know, for a first clear isn't the worst. But man, did it suck. We definitely had to switch our strategy up, and we switched it up about 4 or 5 times while trying to learn how to fight the darn thing. The main issue is his crit spot is pretty small. It's in his chest, and he moves around a lot. So, while linears do the most damage in the game, and that's a good thing because precision weapons should do the most damage in the game, it rewards aim, we were having so much trouble maintaining a consistent damage phase. Not on top of having trouble, you know, just staying alive. But eventually, we just kind of went, let's just throw on Galley. And we both threw on Galley. Eventually, my friend switched to Hothead to maximize some damage output. And we went from doing very paltry damage to chunking the wyvern. Absolutely chunking him. Like, every hit was a good section of the health bar. I think we ended up doing it in about 6 or so phases, which was 5 more than I'd like it to be, but I can't exactly one phase with one other person. Not to mention that he has a lot of health. Like, a lot of health. But we eventually did manage to do it after after quite a few setbacks, quite a few loot changes, dealing with the fact that Bungie's API was down at the time, amongst other things.
There you are.
I don't know if it's still down. It might still be down. I haven't checked. But yeah, we actually ended up doing it, and surprisingly, for once, I actually got all 4 of the new weapons on my second run through. On my first run through, I got just armor, which was so painful. I got armor from the first connecting node part, climbing up the tower, and I got armor from the first boss.
I am a
When I did it the second time, I got a weapon, and 2 weapons. So I was actually very happy.
Of the cosmos. I have
My
no
friend got armor,
you
a weapon, and more armor. So he got
Impossible.
the short end of the stick on the floor end.
We'll find another way to help.
But
Rasputin.
even with all that garbage and working with like 50 million enemies spawning every 2 seconds in the boss
Source
room,
code's corrupted.
I will say
Know
it's
how to
not
fix
hard.
it, but
It's
you do.
actually kind of fun.
You were always too preoccupied
It's just
teaching the
so
war to
hectic,
feel.
and I feel like having a third person would probably make it a lot easier because there'd be someone to distract.
Everything, Anastasia.
But with two,
But yes,
we weren't
I
doing
will
too bad.
help you, because you need it.
Though I will say the boss fight is 1590, and we were slightly underleveled,
How
so we were doing less damage than optimal.
My motive isn't complicated.
But at least by the end of it, it got to the point where we were kind of BSing and talking about different stuff, mostly Destiny stuff, because you're playing the game. Why not talk about it, right? But we were talking about Destiny stuff, and then by the end of where we were with the Wyvern encounter, it stopped being hee hee ha ha and went into full like defeatist, try hard, figure it out mode. We went from like goofing and gaffing to my friend going, I've never felt this defeated in my life. Because he couldn't think of what loadout to use because we were struggling so hard in dealing with all the enemies. And we eventually landed on rockets, specials for ad clear, and I think it was hand cannons and an SMG for hitting the nodes, just for the sake of quickness. And that's what we landed on. But after all that, we kind of stopped talking. We just shut up and started paying attention, you know? And by the end of it, I don't know, I feel proud of how far we got because we learned the whole thing quite substantially well. I had a good time with it. It's hard. But it's not that hard, and it is very fun. That's the main takeaway, I think, is that it's genuinely very fun. Though I do give quite a bit of kudos to anyone who can properly solo it, because man, soloing that dungeon took a lot out of me by the boss fight.
A crude, incomplete shell. Still, I must admit that its storage capacity vastly
On
exceeds
a
that of
completely
static exoplanets.
unrelated note,
It will have to do for now.
and by completely unrelated, I mean
These
very much
rascals
related.
present a far more
We got a new weapon set
They can
this season.
seize control of war mine technology.
Return to the Aikilos weapons
And it stands to reason
and some new stuff.
Warsats are their ultimate goal.
Oh,
We
sorry.
must secure the
It's still
Warsat
early for me.
network out.
Anyway. Yeah, so this is a seasonal artifact. Heating up Swashbuckler in the Pulse. Oh, that's actually higher level. So yeah. I don't actually know how much seasonal content I'm allowed to indulge in without owning the season myself. It seems like not as much, but I don't know. We have some quests to do. One of them involves going to the Enclave. And then I think... I remember last stream we unlocked Europa and it couldn't allow us to go there. So maybe it fixed. I'll have to check after we hit up the Enclave. As you can see, though, if we look at the quests that I'm actually required to do, it's mostly play Gambit, play Crucible, do old stuff from the previous season, and then Witch Queen. So I might just clear out this quest track, the quest board, and that should probably carry me to the end. Because by that point, it'll just be what I have left to do is all the grindy stuff. Honestly, we're in a pretty good spot comparatively. Oh yeah, it's gonna teach you how to do weapon patterns that I'm never gonna actually get. Because I've made that a rule. See, it's telling you, oh, you can shape this weapon. Which, syncopation is actually a good pulse rifle, but it is slowly being outclassed. Ever so slowly. Sort of the issue with power creep anyway. Alright, so yeah, if you look at the map, there's the new dungeon. Spire of the Watcher. It was, like I said, very good experience. Genuinely had a good time. Very frustrating, but still, good time. Alright, so we have Risen stuff to do, which is tied to Witch Queen, so we'll wait on that. Can I access Europa? Maybe I can't. Maybe I can't access Europa. Yeah, maybe I can't access Europa. Because normally there's supposed to be a waypoint down here that takes you to Beyond, but maybe I just can't access the planet unless I have Beyond Light. Kinda sucks. Kinda sucks. Everything else is good, though. Failsafe might still be bugged, actually. But we have the moon that we can access, at least. Castellum and all that. Honestly, of all the seasons we've gotten so far, I think that Haunted was probably the best one. Yeah. Because there were quite a few things that we actually could do. They brought back some of the best weapons of the game, which people are still using even now. I think all four of them, actually. Austringer, Beloved, Drang, and Mida Mini Tool, Callus Mini Tool. Yeah, people are still using all four of them, which is kind of nuts. And the story was good too, because it was a very serious story. So of course there was always something to do this season. It's also the only season I've actually gotten the title for this the yearly cycle on my main. It's also the only title that one of my friends got during the yearly cycle as well. He doesn't play this game nearly as much as I do. Not nearly. Almost to the point where if we're talking about Destiny, he's like, "Oh, you mean that game that sucks?" And I'm like, "Dude, you play it with us." And he goes, "Yeah, because I like playing with my friends." And I can't fault him on that. But come on, man. I enjoy it sometimes. I can't fault him. There's definitely issues. Every game has its issues. That's what the conversation has been for a while now. At least.
This is what the nightmares fear. Your unbridled power. Bring this scythe to bear against the nightmare's defenses. Light
Oh yeah.
and dark
I forgot that
forged
this
together
season
into a physical
had
manifestation
the
of terror.
best, literally the best, like, seasonal event, quote unquote, weapon / abilities thing in the Scythe. When I saw this season launch for the very first time, I genuinely thought that the Scythe was like a new super or something, because they had just done the Solar 3.0 changes. And I was very sad that it wasn't. I wasn't expecting the world for sure, but I was very sad that we didn't have a Scythe as a super. Not to say that the solar changes weren't good. They definitely were very good. Almost to the point where they were too good. But I like scythes. Wish we could have had one. now that we're at this point in the game cycle, where we have all the subclasses, pretty much the entire content for the year, minus that the one mission that we're going to be getting soon, and we're just kind of waiting for Lightfall. Looking back, I think it was a very, very solid yet very standard year of content. They definitely figured out their cycle, where they give you at least, jeez, that was some lag. They give you at least something to do once every 3 months or so. Might it be the most interesting thing? Jeez, what's going on with the lag? Is it going to be the most interesting thing in the world? No, not really. I don't think so. But is it something to do? Yeah, definitely. The subclass changes were sort of the main draw this year, going from subclass 2.0 to 3.0. And there are some definite outliers in the power creep situation. For instance, Arc Titan, which I just started playing with a couple days back because I don't play Titan very much. And what was the other really obnoxious one? Oh yeah, Solar Titan. Titans really got it good for subclass 3.0. Which kind of sucks because I don't play Titan that much, so I couldn't really take advantage of the cracked stuff. Wow. But for Warlock at least, I don't know, it's at least for Void, which is the main subclass I use. It's good. It's solid. It does what it needs to. It's actually stronger. What is happening with the lag? Is this place this unoptimized, or is I'm just lagging because of the Solar Titan? It's good. It does what it needs to. Devour is extremely helpful, and just looping through abilities is super helpful. Solar's kind of a one-trick pony now, and Arc genuinely feels a bit neutered. Which is why, come on, which is why I really don't use Arc that much. I found a fun build with Fellwinter's Helm using that one Arc melee, but I don't know, survivability is low, the supers are kind of bad. It just doesn't feel like it has the same identity that it used to. So for the time being, I'm going to stick with Void, and if I need something really desperate, I can swap to Stasis with Osmiomancy because Jesus, those gauntlets are stupid. Why is it lagging so hard? It's definitely the explosions. It has to be the explosions. Yeah, 100%. Wow. Mind you, this computer I'm using is not bad by any means. It has a 3060 in it. It runs at 144 frames. But man, maybe it's just the amount of things on the screen is causing it to break a little bit. Well, let's hope it can maintain at least for this boss fight. Oh, look at this. Nope, doesn't look like it's going to. But yeah, looking back, of all the seasons we've got so far, the one that we have right now seems to be pretty solid because it's while it is reused content, you can't complain too much because it's got a fresh coat of paint and you can't really expect the world out of a development team that's having to crunch for 3 months. But it's solid. It does what it needs to. Is it the most exciting season we've had? Not especially. It's just kind of a season. Though we did get a dungeon and we're getting a mission, so there's more to it. But I'd say like content-wise, straightforward content-wise, Haunted was probably the best, this one. We got the whole Castellum back. We essentially have a patrol zone. which is incredibly rare these days if it's not a DLC. We got 6 missions, and while they are just 3 missions, with the second run being slightly different, so that makes 6. They were actually missions, and they all did something different. We have a public event main event. We had a return of a bunch of weapons. The Solar 3.0 update, which, looking back, was probably the strongest overall subclass change, even though people were disappointed in it at first, because of course they were. Oh my god, this lag is absurd. It's fine, I cross-mapped it. Hey, Jesus. Why is it okay, yeah, this is definitely not optimized. Anyway, I'm paying way too much attention to the lag. I'm sorry.
But only as an equal.
Oh, I have to explore more of the
We're
Leviathan.
both
Got you.
Royalty, after all. You would do well to remember that.
And you would do well to remember I am your superior. Bow to me, the way you do your serpent of a sister.
Yikes. But yeah, this season, this one, the one I'm playing, probably the most like open and shut, solid content, which is why everyone was playing at the time. This was back when the friend group that I play Destiny 2 with regularly was quite a bit bigger. Like we had a full raid team. We had actually 8 people ready to raid at any point. So that was a really nice thing. Did we raid very often? Still no. But we were ready and willing to do it whenever we got together. And then we had a couple personal issues, and there was a falling out. I won't get into that now, but it had nothing to do with video games. It was very much like a personal thing. And now the friend group has gone from 8 to roughly 6, with 4 of us being regulars. And I don't know if you can do math, but 4 is not enough for a 6-man activity. So we haven't really been doing that much in Destiny very recently. Legitimately, the friend who did Spire of the Watcher with me, that was the first time he actually played Destiny properly for more than like an hour in quite a few months. Burnout has hit most of us pretty hard. Honestly, it's to be expected though. When your game goes on a yearly cycle and you're on the 9th and 10th month of that yearly cycle, people do start to get fatigued because they want a whole dumping of new content, and it just doesn't come because a year takes a long time. Lightfall looks good though. Jesus Christ, the lag. They did a new presentation of Lightfall at the Game Awards, because the Game Awards is secretly just E3. It really is. You can't prove me wrong. But at least they showed off something, and the gameplay trailer looked pretty darn cool. They definitely know how to do their trailers. Can't fault them on that. But on that same token, that is still 3 months away. So anyone who's expecting like a change in the universe is not going to get it anytime soon. Jesus. I'm gonna stop being on the Castellum pretty shortly here. I don't know why it feels like it's so sluggish. I hope that's not my computer, because it really should not be. I did double check stuff. Yeah, let's head out to Castellum for a little bit. But anyway, as you can tell, I very much. What the hell? Oh yeah, Arc 3.0 armor. As you can tell, I'm very much a someone who plays video games a lot because I can tell like the moment that stuff starts feeling gross, and that was feeling pretty gross. Anyway, oh, I almost finished that pattern. Is that my highest? It is my highest. Am I ever gonna use Jade Rabbit? No, let's get rid of it. I do want some more exotics, but that takes time. All right, let's see. So we have a new helmet. Wow, that's strength. Jeez. Gauntlets for more power. Chest piece for more power. Those boots suck. And bond for more power. How are we doing with the... Oh, I can upgrade this further now. I think I can masterwork my shell, actually. Here we go. And I could throw on Blinding Light, as always. Actually, maybe instead of Blinding Light, let's get rid of this. Let's see. I believe it is Recovery Armorer. Recovery Armorer. Burning Light, I think. And what is it? Is it Loot Seeker? It would be Combo Detector, but yeah, I think it's just base Loot Seeker. And then Guiding Light. There we go. Oh yeah, I have a couple shaders now. Not a bunch, but some. That looks cool. And then there's also the Bright Dust Shop. That honestly is the end game of Destiny is fashion. That's the end game of most MMOs, to be fair, is fashion. Warframe does it too. They call it Fashion Frame for a reason. Speaking of Warframe, I might play that on stream at one point. I don't know if I'm going to do it on my main account. I might. Or I might start over. That's what one of my friends did, at least. He had never played Warframe before, and I had started playing it up again about a month prior. And he started learning it with me. And he said if you weren't there, I would have been completely lost on how to play this game, even slightly, because it is a free to play game. There's a lot to it. It has probably one of the best devs for any like quote unquote live service game that we've had for a while, which is good, always good. Hey, Resilience Armor. Always good to have good devs who actually like pay attention to stuff. But at the same time, like they don't really guide you through the first bits of the game. So you get a lot of people, hey, I need these. So you need a lot of people, you get a lot of people who are unsure of what they're doing for quite a while, actually. By the way, this is a god roll. If you don't have it, pick it up. So you end up kind of lost. And I had started playing the game again, picking it back up a month prior, so being there and helping my friend out learning the game from the beginning was actually very helpful, so. Oh yeah, comp got a rework. Competitive got a rework. I haven't seen many opinions on it quite yet. I've just been seeing people like getting ranked because people who play PvP are gonna play PvP, you know? But in my opinion, it's just more Crucible. It's not good or bad. It just, they gave it a fresh coat of paint, and I don't know. It's not, it doesn't make me enthusiastic to play more Crucible. If that was their intention, it doesn't. Oh yeah, they changed it from, oh, sorry. They changed it from control to quick play. Because now they finally decided to put Clash in its rightful place. Alright, let's see. So Nightfall. Forerunner, Armor Synths. Oh, and then Salvage and Salvation, which is where? Oh, Destination in the Helm. Got you. Okay. So, we might as well continue with the Witch Queen stuff. Once this book is open and shut, we can start writing some other stuff. But yeah, the main like, point of this whole game is weapon chasing, in my opinion. So that's kind of what my primary focus is for a lot of this. Oh, I didn't even realize this was Feeding Frenzy chill clip. Good lord. With accelerated or liquid coils? And a charge time masterwork? That's nuts. But this game, for anyone who says it's a bad game, it really is not. At its fundamental, it really is not. At least in my opinion, as someone who's been playing for... What are we on? This is going to be year 6 plus 3. Yeah, almost 9 years. As someone who's been playing the Destiny series for almost 9 years,
says throne worlds are kingdoms of
like this game is not bad. It's unbalanced.
I suppose
The devs seem sort of tone deaf at times. It has a horrid community. That's for darn sure. But it's not a bad game. It's a good shooter. It has a really fun mix of gunplay and ability play. It's unique. It does things that no other game does. It has a seasonal content model that very few games have been able to replicate, other than, you know, like giving you like a new map or a new hero or something once every season or so. Where this game gives you like a whole story-based bit of content, time-gated stuff. You know the deal.
Are you with the Vanguard? Hello?
Oh yeah, we're beating Finch.
I can trace the signal. Any lead's a good lead when you have no leads.
But I do feel the sentiment that a lot of the Destiny community has of it's a combination of the seasons are boring because they're sort of copy and paste one against the other, and there's not that much to do. Power creep is also a factor. The stronger you are, the easier things are, and the less fun the game becomes. And the 3.0 subclasses, while genuinely fun and interesting, have introduced a little bit of power creep. And by a little bit, I mean a lot of it.
We're blocked.
To the point where sometimes it's better to use your abilities and rotate through them than it is to use your weapons.
How did you do that? It's like you created those platforms out of thin air.
I'm a wizard, literally. How did I create those platforms out of thin air? I'm literally a wizard. I have the cloak and the magic and everything. But yeah, other than that, I've sort of decided, like I said at the beginning of the stream, to play this more on my own, because it's more of a shut my brain off sort of game. While playing it on stream has been fun for sure, and having a comfort game to just kind of talk about random stuff, sort of Destiny stuff, but random stuff nonetheless, has been nice. But I do want to extend this weekend stream to the more single-player stuff, because I have been playing BioShock, obviously, and I'm having a really good time with BioShock. Definitely not the easiest game in the world, because of the difficulty I've set it to, and the fact that I'm easily distracted and also kind of stubborn. But I did want to extend the single-player playthroughs a little bit, because once a week is a little stifling, personally. So maybe having it so that at the very end of the week, Friday, Saturday, I can do 2 streams of the same. That might actually help a lot. And then Monday, Wednesday can be whatever I need it to be. The general idea is like Monday is one game that could be either short or long running. Wednesday is either a short single game or some sort of variety stream. And then I think the idea is I'm going to make Friday and Saturday be like the main running game or game series. And then the Saturday stream I can swap out to whatever I need to at the time. So if I'm like doing something important, or I don't know, like challenges or runs or something specific, who knows. I have some ideas cooking up in my head. I'm just sort of getting used to the whole streaming thing, which is why it's been very, very stock standard. But yeah. Still sticking to the 4 streams a week thing, because I did mention earlier this week that I had that mentality of, man, I do want to stream a bit more. Because I had a very, very good time with my first Portal 2 stream. I think that was a wake-up call, like, wow, this can actually be fun. But I know exactly what's going to happen. If I decide to stream more... What is happening? If I decide to stream more, then inevitably I'll start streaming too much. And if I stream too much, some of the stuff on the side will start to falter quite aggressively.
This is exactly why I told you to leave.
And some of that quote-unquote stuff on the side is,
That's why you're here.
like, important to my actual life. So
Yeah.
being able to do that and this,
Be doing this, but
and a couple other things, is for the best if I don't overdo streaming. I mentioned, remember to pace yourself, and I try to remember that as well. I had a part-time job, before I came to Japan. You know, so I could get some money to pay for things. And that was the first time I realized I'm a proper workaholic. Was when I worked that part-time job. I'm a very weird workaholic though, where if I have something to do, I'm going to keep doing it for as long as I feel like doing it, which is usually a very long time. Whereas if I don't have something to do, I almost try to avoid everything else. But yeah. So, like that, the part-time job that I had, I will describe it right now because it's not super relevant. But it was essentially, it was an 8-hour shift on Saturdays and Sundays, while I was also taking classes at the time for Monday through Friday. So every single day I had something to do for at least 2 hours. Every single day of the week. And then when I got to the weekend, it was an 8-hour shift. So I had roughly half the day to myself.
The signal's coming from beyond that gate. We have to get it
Which for the weekend kind of sucks. Kind of sucks in hindsight. But I don't know if it was a sick sense of pride or I was sort of railroading myself into locking myself into just one thing, doing one thing.
We're trying to open the gate.
But
Look, just try to stay alive, all right?
I don't know.
Once the gate's open,
Like I was really, really dedicated to that part-time job for some reason. I felt like I took pride in what I was doing in a very, very backward sense. And in hindsight, I probably overdid it because it was a part-time job where I'm pretty sure half of my coworkers barely gave a rat's ass about what they were doing. But I don't know. It made me feel... It's the small things, you know? It made me feel accomplished to, like, properly do something. It was a service job, so being able to, like, do something for others and be good at it, I don't know, it helped.
Gates open. Let's go.
But yeah, that's how I figured out I was a workaholic, because not only do I railroad myself into doing stuff for long periods of time, I kind of don't know when to not add stuff to free time, because I always want to do something. I have that constant mental battle of, if I'm not doing something, I should be doing something, but I'm also lazy.
I guess it could be a rogue hidden agent or a lost guardian.
So in order to make myself not lazy and feel like I'm doing something, I tend to fill my schedule up to the brim with things.
Lead's a good lead.
I've sort of backpedaled on that since moving to Japan for this program that I'm doing, but at the same time, I started doing this. So am I really backpedaling?
Scorn ahead. What are they doing?
And not only that, I mentioned I'm doing creative stuff on the side to like work on different things. Oh dear. Yeah, it's definitely an issue with my PC. I'll probably Jesus! I'll probably restart my PC after this stream if it can maintain. I genuinely do apologize for the lag. I don't know why it's doing that. Trust me, it annoys me as much as it might annoy you. But hey, for the, like, 10 seconds in between that we get smooth gameplay. So yeah, back to the whole streaming thing. I am having a genuinely good time doing all this. I won't say I'm not. I also sort of did this anyway. That's just kind of who I am. I feel disingenuous not talking to myself while I'm doing specific things. And sometimes I'll be either playing a game or like thinking about stuff, and I'll just start talking out loud like I'm presenting. I don't know if I'm crazy. I might be. But I don't know. I just like running my mouth. So going from just kind of doing that in my room by myself to streaming it to an audience has been honestly kind of simple. Because I just went from one thing to another. Jeez. But yeah, it's gonna depend on the future as to whether or not I decide to add more streams to the schedule, because I understand how much time I have, I understand how much time I'm working with, and I understand what I want to do and what I can do. And I'm only, what, 3 weeks in this whole gig? So I'm still kind of on the very early phases of stuff. Oh, I need to finish. There we go. But yeah. For now, 4 is good. 4 is definitely good. I'm gonna change what's happening within the 4 streams, but 4 is good. Hey, we got a second patient.
Not sure I'll ever get used to seeing ghosts.
Oh, goodness, I'm sorry.
All ghosts were
Still
created
early.
after the collapse. The Traveler released us just before it went dormant. These ghosts had
On top of the fact that I do have that meeting in, what is it, 2 hours now. Actually, I have a couple things I need to do today. It is the weekend, and I do run a lot of my errands in the weekend. It's not like last week where I had to do it immediately, but there's a couple things on the itinerary, you know? Technically, posting my schedule and working on stuff outside of streaming for this channel is its own errand, but in a good way. Speak of the Rebel Ghost. Oh, I thought I did already. I'm speaking with him right now. I'll just sit in front of you. But I don't know. Anyway, enough of my spiel. We still got more to do in Destiny, so let's work on that. I got through that entire Witch Queen mission pretty well. Yeah, let's talk about Deluxe Witch Queen. Just making sure that everything I got during that mission was either good or bad. Let's see. Right, so the pulse rifle, which is my strongest. I'll have to infuse this into something. How about into the Riptide? There we go. Oh, and I can infuse up my armor too. What mods do I have? Because I know I've been unlocking a couple. That's definitely the limiting factor for a lot of stuff. Early on, is mod unlocks. Because you just don't have any at the start. But, you know, one thing at a time. They changed the economy recently, too. The in-game economy. Where planetary materials just kind of don't exist anymore.
Hey, you know, get awkward out of the way first.
So you can turn them into
this,
Glimmer directly.
pile of ash and bone used to be my, actually,
Speaking of Glimmer,
don't worry about it.
500,
All you
really?
need to know, us wandering
Anyway. Yeah, so that was chapter 1. I think it gives you chapters 1 through 3 for free to all players, and then the rest is if you get Witch Queen. I can't believe we've had Witch Queen for as long as we've had it now. Genuinely shocked, honestly. Because we've had this for, what is it? It came out in February. Hey, a shader. Came out in February. We've had it for, what is that, 9 months? 9 months now? Yeah, 9 months. And it really does not feel like it has been that long. Time has really been flying recently, I noticed. Sorry. Yeah, time has been really flowing. We lost a full year back in 2020. We lost half of one in 2021. And currently we're at the end of 2022, which is terrifying to think about. 2023 is in, what, less than 2 weeks? No, not less than 2 weeks. 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now. So, yeah, kind of a big deal. Oh, what? Oh, that's for the prison stuff. Oh, I need to head to the tower anyway. They do really throw a lot at you as a new player. I look at all this and I go, wow, I've done all this already. But for someone who hasn't done all this already, it's a ton. It is a ton of stuff. I looked on Steam just before I started playing today. And we had done about 8 hours. 8 hours of content. And just staring at this quest board, there's a solid, like if I did straight, there's at least another 2.
Underway.
And we've already been going for about an hour.
Bye.
And then the loop kicks in. And the loop has quote unquote infinite time. If you're willing. It really depends on the player though. there's people I know who are very into strikes. There's people I know who are very into Crucible. I myself am into Crucible. And then there's people who play Gambit, which I don't know anyone who actually likes Gambit. So to each their own. Killing a bunch of enemies, picking up motes, banking them, and then getting shot across the map by some guy with a xenophage isn't my cup of tea. But if it's your cup of tea, have fun. The only PvE thing that I know of, so. Oh yeah, they're yelling at each other for lore reasons. And then Sim Salad Bin gets taken by Keitel and put on a war council or something. I don't know, it's been a couple months. Oh, hey, we're back on the helm. This is all legacy stuff. So if you want something to do in Destiny, this is by far and away, the best time.
Young Wolf, we have need of your fangs. The Vanguard is split.
Yeah, Slaps Battlegrounds. So just to give you a little rundown of everything that you can do this year. So the base game, we have Strikes, Gambit, and Crucible, which are rotator playlists. You can always hop into those. Anything. And then we have the Witch Queen, which is the new campaign that just came out over the past year. With the Witch Queen was Season of the Risen, which introduced... Let's look at the war table. Which introduced all this gear, all these weapons, and a Battlegrounds activity. Or, sorry, not Battlegrounds, Proving Grounds activity, which is essentially a different kind of strike. And that's that, pretty much. We also got Dead Messenger, which is a fantastic exotic. Then you had Season of the Haunted, which introduced the Castellum, an entire patrol zone. It introduced the new dungeon, one of the new dungeons, Duality. You have... One second. This one's crazy. All of these weapons and an armor set. Oh, that I can't even get. Yeah, all of these weapons and an armor set. And a complete rework to Solar 3.0. The previous season gave us Void. That one gave us Solar. Then we had Season of Plunder, which probably is the weakest of the four in hindsight, which gave us all these weapons, a complete rework to Arc 3.0, which is why we got that chest with all the upgrades in it. Catch Crash, Expedition, a bunch of puzzles and such, and King's Fall, which is a raid that is free for all players. And then this season we got Season of the Seraph stuff, which, if we go look, is all of these weapons, as you can see. And on top of that, a new dungeon. We're getting a new exotic mission. No new raid, but we don't really need one right now. Just as a little sample of just this year's content that you can do for the next 3 months before Lightfall drops. And then there's also the Shadowkeep campaign, if you own that. There is the Beyond Light campaign, if you own that, with their destinations tied to them. There was the Forsaken campaign, but they got rid of it. So we're at a point right now where there is a lot of content. There is a lot of content in this game right now. If you're a new player, there is genuinely way too much to do. Whereas if you're an old veteran player like myself, it feels like there's nothing to do because you've done it all. I don't know though. The playing back from the beginning has been at least somewhat refreshing. I won't say I've enjoyed it 100% of the way, because there are some things I'm like, oh, I actually have to do that. But it's nice to at least go back and like see what people see for the very first time when they load in Destiny. And there is a lot of stuff. This is a completely free to play account, and there's all this to do. And we've gotten through quite a large amount of it. All right. So I mentioned dares. I mentioned I wanted to run dares. There's also Battlegrounds, and there's that Witch Queen mission that we can also do. That's the next campaign mission, right? I mean, we might as well. I did say I wanted to bang out all the Witch Queen stuff. Oh yeah, and I need to talk to what's her face, 801, because she has some combat mods that might be useful. Speaking of mods, we can actually throw some on this now. No, not targeting adjuster. Quick access. This one. I actually don't know. Full auto retrofit I really don't need for this kind of pulse rifle. Maybe sprint grip. And then for the linear, boss spec. Currently my highest damage weapon. I mean, the rocket can do just as well, but... Oh, it's the board. The theme for Witch Queen is it's his investigation.
Our inquiry.
Search for Quag. The Quagmire. Gotta love the Quagmire. This was genuinely, when I did this for the first time, this whole campaign, super fun. It was a great time. They did such a good job with it. It did. They mentioned that it said like it was gonna feel like a Halo campaign mixed with a Doom campaign, and I feel like they hit the nail on the head on that one. It has a lot of one, really good story beats, 2, really interesting content, and 3, difficulty. The difficulty is top notch. That is for definite. And it doesn't feel unbalanced like a lot of champion-based stuff can be, you know? So that's honestly huge. When we did it for the first time, back when Witch Queen launched, I did it as a group of 2, with one of my other friends, because we were both really excited and we wanted to play it, and we had time to play it together because a couple of our other friends were at work, and we weren't at the time. Not that I took the day off of work, I just didn't have anything to do that day. But we played through a solid, I want to say 8 hours. And it was a challenge. Not for nothing. We did end up beating it as a duo, I think. And then I went back and played it again as a solo. And I think that was the most fun I personally had with it. Not because our first run through wasn't fun, it certainly was, but it felt more challenging to have to really focus and pay attention to stuff. And the subclass that I ended up developing for working out how to do that whole thing solo, which was, what was it? I still use it today. It's the Omnioculus Invis Hunter, or was I using Graviton at the time? I might have been using Graviton at the time. Either way, it's Invis Hunter with a shotgun, Le Monarch, and a linear fusion. And those 3 things together, I'm genuinely surprised worked as well as they did. Because we have the bow for ranged accuracy, and when I got the catalyst, it also heals you, which is nuts. The shotgun for chunky yellow bars, and the linear for bosses. That plus being able to go invisible with damage resist 90% of the time helps out a lot.
Unless you think
Jeez. Yeah, no, it might be a server thing, actually.
Wait, I knew that voice. He wasn't going by Amaru back when he was tormenting young ghosts. Let's ruin his day.
I feel like it's definitely a server thing, because this does not normally jitter this much. There have been server issues over the past couple of days when the new dungeon launched. It was relatively stable for about an hour, and then shortly after, the entire server just kind of shit the bed, where everyone was getting Calabrese errors. I remember because I decided like an idiot to stay up late because I wanted to play the dungeon myself. And I got in there, played it for about 10 minutes, and got a massive lag spike, and died. And I was like, you know what? This isn't worth it. I'm going to restart. So I went back in to restart, and I got back to the part where I died at, like the exact point, and then I got error code Calabrese, and I was like, what the hell? And then I went back in, because I was like, I really want to do this. Got back to the same point, Calabrese. By this point, I was already fed up. I was mad. So I tried again, Calabrese. I tried again, Calabrese. And after about 5 tries of seeing if I could even play like 5 minutes without getting kicked out, I gave up. I sent a message in my Discord saying I want to do the dungeon, but I got kicked out, and I could probably throw this monitor right now. Guess I should just go to sleep. And one of my friends went, L. Because of course he did. So I went to sleep. And then I woke up the next day, and that's when we started doing the dungeon, and I told that story already. But yeah, if this game does one thing completely wrong every single time I play it, it's the fact that the servers are always screwy. And this lagging today is brutal. I don't think it's my video settings. I really don't, because everything's set either medium or high. And yet again, this is a 3060. So this game should have absolutely no trouble. But who knows? Who knows? Kind of like rolling the dice when it comes to launching Destiny sometimes. If you're wondering why I'm going back to the Helm, it's because I completely forgot about the Umber engrams that I wanted to decrypt. There are some new weapons on the roster that I'm actually quite interested in. I mentioned last time, I think, that I was trying to get some weapons from engrams. Let's grab a Beast, a Vista Hake, and a Suros. Alright, so Enyo for Hake, Cantata for Suros, and Redback. Okay, those are the 3 weapons that I was not looking for. Dude, the Cantata has Rapid Hit Vorpal. Honestly, not horrible. Honestly, not horrible. Has solid stability, solid handling. I don't know if I really want to use this, though. Yeah. I am very minimalistic when it comes to Destiny. If I feel like I'm not going to use it, it's gone. I don't hoard anything. My vault on my main account is empty, and my vault on this account is going to be empty. I just don't see the purpose of holding on to stuff that you're never going to use. I really don't. Well, then there's the argument of like, but what if it becomes meta? Yeah, what if it becomes meta? What's going to happen to all the weapons that you use regularly? Are they going to collect dust in the vault now? Probably. Hey, we look at Thorwell at least. So that helps matters. I'm kind of miffed about Europa, though. I don't know why. It was probably because I was very rushy last stream, and I backed out when it was teaching you how to, like, go to Europa and do the patrol stuff. It's honestly kind of weird how it just kind of locks me out. Maybe if I go to the kiosk in the tower that has all the old quests, maybe that way I'll be able to get it. But who knows? Oh yeah. More stuff. This is for the exotic glaives. And I get what they were trying to do with them, where they each have their own unique functionality and can add on to your kit. But at the same time, like, no, they're not very good. They've gotten their buffs and nerfs. But at the same time, like, meh. I've used the Edge of Intent. It's not my favorite. I can just use Heal Lock and it does the same thing. I'm kind of trying to avoid the playlist stuff for now. Just because that loop is sort of taxing. And I'm trying to get at least some of the stuff that will last a while done. But yeah, the majority of what I do in this game is just kind of loop stuff. Which, on top of the fact that this is more of a comfort brain turn-off game for me, is part of the reason why I hesitate to stream this every week, because it would just end up being a loop of the same things over and over again. And you know, while I can maintain that, I feel like having one part of the stream, which in this case being the gameplay, being kind of boring and just the same thing over and over again, I don't know, it doesn't feel right. I want the entire stream, both me and what I'm doing, to be at least engaging, and I want people to have fun, you know? So just sitting here rambling as I randomly scroll over the map and look for things to do, honestly isn't the most engaging, just in my personal opinion, as a criticism of myself. And I really don't think I need a comfort game anymore, because I've played games that I'm not used to. Portal 2 and BioShock, for instance. I'm not used to Portal 2, but I'm not used to Portal 2 and talking. But yeah, I don't feel like I need the quote-unquote comfort here anymore, so to speak. I will definitely come back to this account, though. I'm not going to leave this in the dust, because having that New Light experience and being on a different account to, like, show off different gear and potentially different loot and such is a good thing. It's definitely going to stay minimalist, though, because I am much more maximized on my main, because that's where all my DLC is. But I did when I first started streaming, I didn't want to come in with like a fully loaded account to start off with, because that seems disingenuous, and it seems like you've opened a book to the middle chapters, if you know what I'm saying. Where, like, think about it this way. If you haven't read a book, right? If you're at a bookstore and you find a book that you really want to read because it's like a fantasy novel or some interesting like mystery or something like that, right? A story from start to finish, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, the whole 9 yards. If you want to read a book, you want to start from the beginning, regardless of how much prior information you have, because getting context for everything is how people digest stories. And if I come on stream playing Destiny 2 from the very beginning, showing off the new player experience, there's context behind that. You can see where I started, where I am, and where I'm going. But if I just decided, hey guys, we're going to play Destiny 2 today, and I started playing on my main account, which has multiple raid and dungeon clears, 3 characters with full subclasses, weapons that I've ground out for actual weeks sometimes, and so much history that it would be like digging through an archaeology set, then it would be like that same mystery book, but opening to like chapter 20. And yeah, you learn new things and you experience new stuff, for sure. But it has with it this baggage of there's about 150 pages missing here. Oh, my grenade just didn't make a noise. That was weird. Yeah, there's definitely something going on with the servers, I think. Also, whoever designed this enemy should be shot. Whoever designed Overload Captain should be shot. I'm sorry. Because I just missed 4 linear shots in his face. Uh-oh. But yeah. I will definitely, like, if I play this game in the future, I will definitely mention whether or not I'm on my main or my or this account, because just going from all right playing on my new light to hey guys, I did Kingsfall yesterday, look at all the cool stuff I got, would just kind of be like, has anyone seen that video? I don't remember who made it, but it's the video, it's the parody of every Minecraft YouTuber, where like it jokes about how people are never consistent and there's no continuity between videos because they want to play off recording. And it's like, hey guys, today we're starting our new Minecraft series, so we're just gonna figure some stuff out, and we're gonna get some wood, and we're gonna start playing, and it's gonna be a really good time. And then it cuts to the next episode. It's like, hey guys, I built an entire mansion. I also killed the Ender Dragon. Like, yeah. That's just a personal criticism I have with, like, at least playing video games, especially video games that have a clear starting point. Like, if you're playing something, start from the beginning. It just makes more sense. Just in case it is my laptop, after this stream I will be restarting my PC. Because, wow. Something is up. Speaking of PCs, I posted about it yesterday for me, which is probably also today. I was a bit bored and I couldn't sleep, so I wanted to see what the whole hubbub was about with Portal RTX, because I had seen that when I had streamed Portal 2 weeks ago as my first gaming stream. I had seen that there was Portal RTX. There was a new update by NVIDIA that increased the graphical fidelity of the game and introduced RTX and made better use of the card and all that stuff. And I was curious So I installed it, and I played it a little bit. I wasn't going to play the whole thing again because I've already played Portal. Not only 3 times, but also on stream. And I am actually flabbergasted at how genuinely good it looks. Reminder that Portal, the original Portal, came out, and I'm pretty sure either 2007 or 2008. And with RTX on, other than maybe the models themselves, like the updated textures and the high graphical fidelity and the ray tracing, it genuinely looks like it came out yesterday. It's utterly phenomenal how far we've come with like graphics and such. I personally am not like a graphical, what's the word? Not like a graphic file. I don't know what you'd call it. I'm not super into, nor am I not nor do I really deride graphics. If a game has good graphics, good. If a game has bad graphics, if it's a good game, really doesn't matter. It's all about the experience. But just seeing Portal, which we all know what Portal looks like. Seeing Portal look like that was kind of amazing. In all honesty. It actually like makes me wonder what we can do with RTX stuff in the future, because when I checked about the RTX stuff, I think they mentioned that they're leaving it open source to where developers can get their hands on the technology that they used for the RTX, and they can add it to any old games as long as there's a way for the processing to work properly. I don't know how old of a game you can actually put RTX on, but if it's anything like if it's anything like Portal, that is a hell of a time. Like, just imagine, I don't know, Spore, right? With RTX. What a hellish experience that would be. I'm just thinking about Spore with RTX, and I'm mildly terrified. Just a vile creation from the hinterlands, but with high graphics. Honestly, if there's any activity I could loop over and over again in this game and not get really bored, it would probably be dares. It's fun. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and it's a big sort of horde mode kind of deal. If we're really picking favorites, it would 110% be the Menagerie, which is no longer in the game. But I think that goes for literally anything. People often say that that was the highlight of Destiny 2, Season 7. And I kind of agree with them. It had a very solid Solstice grind. It gave us some really good reprised D1 weapons with a new coat of paint, literally. That was before they started, like, really aggressively bringing stuff back. And it feels, it felt really nice. That was when we were, my friend group was playing the most as well. I remember back around that time, I started playing Destiny 2. I played Destiny 2 for probably up through Curse of Osiris up to when Warmind started. And then because Warmind came right after Curse of Osiris, and Curse of Osiris was so bad. It was so bad. I just kind of quit. I stopped playing. I went on to different things. I actually don't remember what I was playing at the time. But I wasn't playing Destiny, that was for sure. And you know how when you don't play something for a while and you're on the outside, you get that sort of, wow, how can you play this? I remember it sucks mentality. For a solid year, I was the, wow, that game sucks, how can you play that guy? Like, looking back on that, I can't believe I was that.
Places timeless vex before you.
And that was probably my biggest bout of burnout ever for Destiny. But what happened was, one of my college friends was talking about, what was it? I think it was Black Armory at the time. And he was talking about the new exotic quest for Izanagi's Burden and how much of a pain in the ass it was. And I was like, oh, that sounds kind of interesting. I haven't played in a while. How is it? And he goes, oh, it's actually pretty fun. You might actually have a good time with it. And I was like, oh, okay. I gave it a bit more time. I don't remember what I was... Oh, no, I was playing mobile games at the time. That was my mobile game phase. Oh. Now I remember. Oh, that was a horrible time. But yeah. So then we went back. I went back and I was like mildly interested in Destiny. Very mildly. I still didn't play it. And then Season 7 came around, and I was talking with friends randomly one day. And I don't remember what prompted it, but like someone said like we should do a private match or something just to play the game. And I was like, you know what? Okay, I might as well. And I made a clear statement, like I'm only playing this game for private matches and nothing more. I don't want to play this game right now. I'm not really interested in this game. I just want to play private matches with you guys. And guess what happened? I went from, man, this game sucks, to immediately dropping $40 on Forsaken within the night. And from there, the addiction kicked back in. I played pretty much all of Season 7 and ground Menagerie so much that I swear I can memorize half of the mechanics. Remember, bad memory, so that's saying something. And yeah, that was probably when I played. That was definitely not the most hardcore I was, but that was me getting back into it and having a genuinely fun time with it. So I played through that. I played for the solid season. I did all of Solstice. That was a grind and a half. I think I did the Solstice grind twice all the way through. But I did that. I played through all of Season 7. Shadowkeep launched, and we were still playing, and everyone was having a good time. I played all the way up until Pit of Heresy launched, I think a month after. And then I stopped again. Because I wasn't fully invested and there wasn't as much to do as I thought. People also were lambasting Shadowkeep, because of course they were. People lambaste this game all the time.
I must echo the horse
but
the stars. Thank you for
I
us tonight.
ended up not playing for another 3 or 4 months-ish, roughly speaking.
Sir.
And after that, I don't remember what we did. I think we went and played... No, I actually don't remember. Might have still been in my mobile game phase, actually. But we bypassed Season 9, which I'm very upset about, because it had one of the best cosmetic sets the game has ever seen in the glowy knight armor. Also had some really good weapons that you can't get anymore and are also sunset, because of course they are. And then the worst season in the game's history came around. Season of the Bugs, Season of the Worthless, whatever you want to call it. Season 10. And I honestly don't have any clue why, but Season 10 is when I went hardcore back into Destiny. Of all the seasons that it could have been. That's actually a really good roll. Of all the seasons that it could have been. I cannot believe that I came back and started playing really hardcore on Season fucking 10. When Trials launched, well, we had one of the most boring public events. The Fellwinter's quest that me and my friends stayed up until 2 a.m. trying to finish, and the door was closed for a week, so we couldn't get in. But I played Season 10 way too much. And if there's anything I regret, it's that season being the season I came back and not Season 9. I don't regret the time I spent, but I do regret the season I played. But from that point on, I've been pretty consistent. I took a small break during Plunder, because, yeah, seasonal burnout happens to everybody. I took another small break during Season of the Lost, because that was just a long season, and you definitely need breaks. But every other season, I've played a decent amount. I played, let's see. If we go from Season of the Worthy, I played Arrivals a lot. I think that was the most I played, was Arrivals. If I remember, that was the highest rank I ever got, season-wise. I think I was like 600 something, which is utterly absurd. I played Beyond Light quite a bit. That is a major DLC, so it's not... It doesn't really count in the sense. So, you know, but at the same time, like, that was definitely where I was playing very consistently. Like, if you looked at a heat map of my activities, that's where it was. And I was pretty much just like every day or every other day coming and playing.
The incomprehensible horse.
And then after season 12 was Chosen, and then Splicer, and then Lost, and I played consistently through all of those, and then we got the Witch Queen launch, and we're here. And I've played, like I said, pretty consistently all the way through. The thing that probably kept me playing consistently was, I hate to say it, Crucible. I mentioned in the last stream that I've played Crucible too much, which is why I was so toxic, because I understand how the game works, and I both overestimate my own abilities and criticize myself for not being as good as I want to be, which ends up turning into toxicity of people using overpowered stuff and me feeling bad that I can't go toe-to-toe with them. But what ended up happening was around season 13 or 14, I just started playing Crucible a lot because I wanted to play some sort of FPS game, and I wasn't playing Call of Duty at the time. I was really just playing Destiny. And, yeah, I started getting good. That was before people could use stupid damage strats and, like, constant overheals and a bad weapon meta and blah, 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 blah. There was Shatter Dive, so I was dealing with that. And there also was Trials, so I was dealing with that too. But I've stomached the Hard Light meta. I've stomached the Lord of Wolves meta. I've gotten through quite a bit. The Shadow Dive meta, obviously, I just talked about that. And probably the high point of my Destiny career was, I don't know if it was Witch Queen. I think it might have been Lost. I think Lost was where I was doing the best. I had a very solid KD. I was playing Crucible very regularly. I was doing really well. I had a good loadout, a good setup. Very fun time. Did I have my nearly break something moments? Yes. Did I have my definitely break something moments? About 7 or 8 times. Not very proud of those moments. A very wise person has said recently, it's okay to be angry, but it's never okay to lose your temper. And I've lost my temper quite a few times playing Crucible. Thankfully, I haven't caused nearly as much property damage in the past, like, 6 or 7 months, so I'm proud of that. But I definitely did not great things by rage gaming.
The demented dares of eternity obstacle course.
But yeah, the main thing that kept me going for all that time was Crucible, and I still play Crucible. In fact, I played the reworked competitive, and I got a good rose. It was my only rose, because it put me. I'm not kidding. It put me in gold 3, right? And then the next 7 games I played were all losses. I won maybe 2. So I went from gold 3 to silver 1, and then back to gold 3 by sheer dumb luck. Literally. It was, oh god. It put me in such a, gold 3 is pretty much middle of the road, to be fair. Very average. Like, semi-decently skilled, but not, like, ascendant tier. But it put me in gold 3, and I tried really hard to, like, stay consistent and win some games, but I swear to you, the meta has shifted so far away from what I can tolerate that I don't know if I'm just stuck in the past with what weapons I like to use, or if player abilities are so overtuned that I feel like I can't win unless I'm using exactly what they're using. But it just, I don't know. Ever since the Solar 3.0 rework, actually no, since the Void 3.0 rework, I've been really angry at abilities in Crucible. This was, mind you, after the point where Bungie said, "Oh yeah, we're working on how abilities are used, and we're planning on making Crucible much more focused on gunplay." And they did that. Season 15 was super focused on gunplay. I was very happy. But right after they made that promise, they introduced Void 3.0. And guess what that did? It brought us Invis Hunters, it brought us Overshield Titans, it brought us the Grape, which I just used on this bomb tender. And all of a sudden, it went from continuous gunplay with a big focus on weapons and personal skill to how long can you stay invisible? How much overshield do you have? Did you proc Devour? Well, everyone else is gonna die. And that's when it started. Then we got Solar 3.0, which introduced the heal meta, which can honestly go screw itself, and is still a problem even now. Healing grenades are still a problem. And then we got Arc 3.0, which introduced storm grenades. So yeah, my general Crucible enjoyment has decreased over time, for sure. Am I still decent at Crucible? Yes, you saw on last stream that apparently my first game ever, I got a 2.35 on this account. So I'm not bad by any means. I can still hold my own. But the Rumble games should have told you that it is very unbalanced. So yeah. Do I think that abilities overall should be down-tuned in Crucible? Yeah, I do. Are they going to be? Probably not. Unless there's a massive overhaul to how Crucible works. I just want to shoot stuff with guns, you know? And this game is not competitive. Anyone who thinks this game is competitive is like huffing fumes, I swear. They put Destiny in the esports category in Game Awards, and I could not facepalm any harder. But like for genuine like gunplay, this game does a really good job. There are definitely some unbalanced parts, and the fact that every weapon has a damage buff is kind of gross. And if, like, trust me, if there weren't damage buffs and things were just kind of stock standard, it would actually become more of a competitive shooter. I genuinely think that's what's holding Destiny back from being like a proper competitive game, is there are too many things that give you free healing and free damage buffs, and I will say this forever. There is too much free damage resistance, free healing, and free damage. If it was earned, yeah, I could see it. But like when they introduced Radiant, which was just a free 10% flat damage bonus on the same subclass where you can overheal yourself, that just felt like they were going in a completely opposite direction. But if they went whole hog on the weapon balancing and like reduce the amount of damage that you can do, reduce the amount of damage you can resist, all these things, and just kept it so that weapons were consistent across the board, they genuinely would have a good, like, proper movement shooter. And I don't know, the feedback on weapons in this game feel really good. I think it has to do with the aim assist. Some Destiny YouTuber said it. The aim assist in this game makes weapons feel like an extension of you, which is exactly what you want out of weapons. But in the way that it is now, there are too many cheesy ways to buff your damage and reduce other people's damage and blah 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 blah, and you get the idea. And that's the thing too, is I would want this to be more of a, if they really wanted to double down on it, because they seem to be focused somewhat on PvP. It's not like PvP doesn't exist. It's definitely not the game's strong suit, but they at least are aware it's a thing and want to work with it. But I've played other games that are proper competitive shooters. Primarily like Call of Duty. That can be classified as a competitive shooter. I've dabbled in Overwatch a little bit too, but I don't really like class-based shooters other than TF2. But the way that like, for instance, Modern Warfare 2 is balanced, I feel like time to kills and bullet advantage just doesn't work in that game, because you do more damage to the head and the chest than you do to the body and the legs. So even if you have bullet advantage, if someone hits you more in the chest than you hit them, they'll win that gunfight 9 times out of 10. And if you shoot someone in the head with anything, they'll drop like a fly. So because of the inconsistency of like the general damage inconsistency and the lack of feedback on like where you're hitting your target, it just doesn't feel quite right. Whereas something like this, where you get clear damage indicators that you're hitting headshots, clear damage indicators that show how much damage you're doing, and direct feedback on pretty much the whole gun loop, it genuinely would do well as a competitive shooter, but it really is not one. And trust me, I've had my fair share of how the hell did he kill me? That doesn't make any sense before. I'm sure everyone's had that at least once.
Victory is close.
But, you know, it's wishful thinking because this game is 110% focused on the PvE side of things. And I can't blame them for that. Because that's how the game was marketed, that's how it's been sold. Crucible has always been the thing on the side. Even back in Destiny 1. Look at all these people dancing. Ah, hey, we got a lightning round. Nice. But yeah, that's kind of my general take on the current state of Crucible is there's way too many abilities being flung around for me to even find a place with my guns. And I have a strategy, and it's Void Blink Warlock, and it works great. I can go toe-to-toe with a lot of people and do a pretty good job. But I don't know, the current state of weapons and weapon balancing on top of the fact that there's abilities everywhere just kind of makes me feel sick. I don't like sidearms. I've never liked sidearms. And seeing people shred me with a drang across the map is gross. Weapons in this game are definitely a feel thing. For instance, I can tell you on one hand the number of people who have ever used Suro snipers competitively. Me being one of them. But I couldn't count the number of people who have used stuff like Frozen Orbit, Omniscient Eye. What's the new one? Oh, Macabre. Like all the heavy hitters, Succession, stuff like that. Silica Neuroma. Oh yeah, Beloved, obviously. Because they're all meta snipers. And I've used a ton of meta snipers before, and people have done so as well. What was it? Dado mentioned once that his favorite sniper was Supremacy, and it just hasn't felt good anymore. And I fully understand him.
Very special guest has joined tonight's show.
But it does come down to feel, and the reason why the sidearm meta has made me feel gross for pretty much this whole time that it's existed is I've used sidearms before. I've used them in Crucible. I've used them in PvE. I have the Boudica, which is actually okay as a sidearm choice. And it doesn't feel good. They don't feel good. They don't feel like hand cannons. They don't have the same aim assist. Feels like you're spamming the gun. There's way too much variance in the weapon types and like what they do. It just, I don't like sidearms. Not only that, I did get Drang. I've gotten a couple Drangs, actually. I've just never liked Drang at all. Even when I was using Sturm a very, very long time ago, I never used Drang. Because there was always something that was better. Which is why I sort of gravitated towards pulse rifles. Because unlike a lot of weapons, pulse rifles have stayed at least decently consistent. Hand cannons have too, don't get me wrong. Hand cannons have always been very consistent because the ability to peak shot and do 70 damage per crit, always gonna have its place. It currently doesn't as much because of the fucking sidearms, but you know, pulse rifles feel like a jack of all trades sort of deal, where you can get solid damage at range, solid damage up close if you hip fire, good aim assist, and aggressives can two burst. So there's always something there. Wow, that's a lot of weapons. Wow, wow, okay, wow.
Yes, Captain. You are victorious.
Also, did I just get sunset boots? Zer just gave me a pair of sunset boots. All right, buddy.
The super temporal horse and I will perceive you next time on Dares of Eternity.
Anyway. Yeah, so I won't say that Crucible is bad. It's just in an unbalanced state as of current. And I'm gonna stick with what I have. And I'm gonna play with what I have, and I'm gonna try to enjoy myself. That's sort of my idea of that. Oh wow, 1552. That might be useful. Slideshot Trench. Bungie? What is this? They gave me 2 of the same gun. Anyway.
I am an agent of the Nine.
Oh yeah, the strange key for what is it? Not the quest. Is the quest? Oh no, I forget what that's for. Is it for Forerunner? I don't think it's for Forerunner.
One day
it might be for Forerunner. So, what you just saw on the right side of my screen is genuinely crazy. I'll show you in a second. Timeline's Vertex. Yo. 1552. Oh wow, everything's 1552. I'm just dismantling the pattern stuff. Light from Gold Vorpal. That's actually pretty solid. But I think I'll stick with the Slideshot Dredge for now. I do want a 1-2 punch one. Does that have Assault Mag? No, it doesn't. That's full choke. That's fine. So, let me just show this off. So this is the other half. This is the rarest sword. Well, actually, correction. The rarest weapon to get from Dares of Eternity. If we go to my Patterns and Catalyst section, let's go to the swords. You need exactly 1 red border of other half to get the pattern. And I have opened the Dares chest on this account maybe 5 times. Maybe 7. Give or take 10. Less than like 20. Probably between 10 and 20. And if I dismantle this, I just got the pattern for the sword done in one fell swoop. The luck behind that is actually absurd. So, I swear, something's going on with this count, because I also got this, so I don't know. Maybe it's a good omen for the future, who knows. Maybe this is the account where I'll get Touch of Malice if I ever decide to do King's Fall. Yeah, it really did just give me sunset weapons. Sunset boots. Is there anything else I wanted to do? Oh yeah, open this, hold on. Full auto. So they just changed it so that full auto is a setting now. So seeing that was like, what? Again, another full auto. Anyway. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe this account was blessed by the lucky leprechaun or something. It's always your sub account where you get more than your main. It's not that I don't have the other half on my main. I do. It's crafted. It's done. But The fact that I got it that soon is like, what? Like I said, I have a rule against crafting. So we're not crafting anything. But I have that in the back pocket now on this account. So if I ever decide to craft stuff, I can. I can craft that sword with eager edge.
What cipher is this?
Oh, intellect armor. Cool. All right. So I think after I infuse these up, I think I'm gonna cut it a little bit short today. I do want to fix whatever issues going on with the PC, because that lag did get pretty obnoxious, at least for me. But yeah, as you can see, there's not as much to do, and stuff just kind of starts being on loop. Let me at least go back to Zur and use this key. Yeah, stuff starts kind of being on a loop a little bit. And if you're into playing or watching someone play Destiny, kudos. I personally don't watch people play Destiny. I just like playing Destiny. But there will be much more to do in the future, because a lot of the content in this game, I actually do own on my other account. And that's where all the fun is. So if you are free to playing Destiny, you can still have a very good time. I mean, I've had fun doing what I've been doing. But I've already done all this already. So retreading old footsteps, kind of, I don't know. It's a little tedious. I think tedious is a good word. So, you know. Well, let me get in a good position. There we go. Oh wait, maybe not facing that way. There's too many names. That's better. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna turn off the HUD for the cinematic purposes. Where was that? I think it was in gameplay. Yeah, there it is. Off. Look at that. That looks good. So yeah, so I think that about does it for Destiny for at least the near future. I'm definitely gonna come back. I'm not gonna leave this game in the dust because I still like playing Destiny. It might be for new content. It might be on my old account. It might be whenever I decide to do something more special, like, I don't know, solo dungeons or like a Crucible Endurance or something. I've had thoughts. There's something I can do. I've played this game enough. I can come up with something. But as it stands right now, I think I'll close the first chapter on Destiny at least, and next week at this time is going to be either BioShock or whichever major game I decide to play, because I want them to extend to the weekend at least a little bit. So, if you came and watched during the stream, thank you so much. I was glad to have some people watching. If you are watching the VOD, hi, good to see you as well. And with that, schedule for the week will be up later today after I get done with all my outside stuff. And that about does it. Bye-bye!